Hello, and welcome to Tips from a Roller. I'm Pat, and I want to talk to you today about creativity and its effect on brand awareness. So today we're going to go over how creativity increases your ROI. I'm going to talk about how creativity benefits your business, how it improves brand performance, builds long-term memory, and then what exactly creativity means. It's not really helpful for you to just go to a designer and be like, make me ad and be creative, because that doesn't mean anything specifically. So I want to go in depth a bit with defining some of the elements of creativity. So Harvard Business Review article on the study of consumers' responses to creativity in brand awareness campaigns found that money invested in a highly creative ad campaign had on average nearly double the sales impact of money spent on a non-creative campaign. So using creativity increases your bottom line, increases your sales. The outcomes of using creativity include increasing motivation to mentally process the ad. So ads essentially interrupt people, and using creativity kind of lessens the effect of that interruption and makes people more willing to engage with the ad. It also improves individuals' attitudes toward an ad, and that improved attitude transfers to the brand as well. So creativity has a favorable impact throughout the entirety of the hierarchy of the effects that branding brings. So from exposure to an ad, to awareness of the brand featured in the ad, to learning the claims that the ad makes, creativity has a positive effect, and then on to accepting that claim that the ad made, and then on to liking the brand, and finally brand intentions, which means basically that people intend to buy or people have intentions with your brand. So from exposure all the way through to people having intentions to buy from your brand, creativity helps. So long-term consistency is a positive thing in brand creativity. Repetition or consistency will create and then reinforce emotional memories associated with your ads and your brand. Consistency also improves emotional response and recognition of your brand and the ads. And if you combine creativity, consistency, and repetition, it'll drive a fluency with your brand. So if you think of like a Nike swoosh, if you see that, you'll pretty much instantly recognize what it is and the brand that's associated with it, even to the point that sometimes people might just in passing in conversation tell you to just do something, just do it, and even though Nike is not present there at all, you might think of that. And so the repetition is not necessarily just saying the exact same thing or showing the same ad again and again. It can be a character in different situations, the same character in different situations. It can be a motif or a theme repeated again and again. For example, Snickers has the not going anywhere for a while motif. It's different situations every time, but it's the same. Not going anywhere for a while, grab a Snickers. So as I said, just saying be creative isn't helpful. I want to define elements of creativity. There are two categories that go into this. One is divergence. It's the degree to which ad elements are novel, extraordinary, unusual, or unique. And then there's relevance as a category, the meaningfulness or usefulness of ads to the consumer. There are sub-elements of each of these. In relevance, there's ad to consumer relevance, and then there's brand to consumer relevance. There's also ad to brand relevance, like the relevance between the ad and the brand. That has been found to not actually be that useful or improve the performance of your ads, so we're just not going to go over it here. And then there's 5 sub-elements of divergence that I'll talk about in depth as well. So ad to consumer relevance, it means that elements of the ad are meaningful or familiar to the consumer. And then brand to consumer relevance are situations where the brand or product category is used in familiar situations. So slotting the brand into something that is familiar to the consumer. The divergent elements, the first one is elaboration. It means ads that contain unexpected details or ads that build on basic ideas with intricacy or complications and make them more sophisticated. Elaboration is used here to build on the idea of the negativity of global warming, climate change, habitat destruction. Basically, the idea that climate change will cause the ice caps to melt, related to the consumer in the way that they've probably experienced with ice cream melting over their hand when they're holding a cone, just basically putting it in a negative light using elaboration. And this is a Garnier Fructis ad about shampoo or conditioner that extends the idea of using shampoo to different situations in one photo using elaboration. It takes really nice hair, a woman, and you can see the back of her jeans, and extends it to attach it to a man's beard. So in both situations, as a woman with the hair in your head, or as a man shampooing your beard, Garnier Fructis works anywhere. The second element is artistic value, a bit more straightforward. Ads that contain artistic or verbal impressions, and ads that contain attractive colors or shapes. Adobe Photoshop does really well with this, or just Adobe in general, because their product basically is for enabling artists. Here it's a whole scene with a bunch of Keith Haring art throughout the subway. He was known for getting up a lot in subways in the 80s, and he's just grown in popularity since then. It's just a really nice looking ad, and that's artistic value. They also do one with a whole aspirational future scene incorporating art and creativity throughout an entire city. Another just memorable, aesthetically pleasing scene. The third element is originality, meaning ads that contain elements that are rare or surprising, or that move away from the obvious and commonplace. Here is a zoo ad that is original because it is unexpected. A lion making some guy smile makes me laugh, even though I put it in here and I've seen it several times. Basically saying that the animals are going to make you smile, and then demonstrates that make you smile in a different way, in an unexpected way. Here's a Jeep ad that uses the format for originality. If you flip the picture of the elephant upside down, then it becomes a picture of a duck, and it basically just relates Jeep to outdoor wilderness adventures where you may see animals. Flexibility is an ad's ability to link a product to a range of different uses or ideas, and ads with ideas that move from one subject to another fairly easily. Here's another Jeep example that takes overlapping colored images to create the image of a Jeep, and then it relates Jeep to you taking your car out to cold, snowy wilderness places, or taking it, on the other hand, to hot, desert, sandy areas with a camel. Basically, it's an all-purpose vehicle demonstrated through the flexible use of two different animals overlapping. And Old Spice just extends the idea of scent to a whole set of images from a particular theme. So one is kind of the freshness of Pacific Island jungle, and the other is like the freshness and scent of a tropical island beach. Just a ton of imagery stuck in here to demonstrate that you're going to smell good, you're going to smell fresh, like these wild places. Finally, synthesis is ads that blend normally unrelated concepts or ideas. It's different from flexibility in that flexibility just jumps between or has a bunch of ideas that demonstrate one thing. Synthesis blends them together, and you're going to find that a lot of these concepts sort of overlap, and a lot of ads contain each of these elements or a few of these elements. This is a McDonald's ad that it basically looks like a hamburger, but it is actually a symphony theater, and it relates the pleasurable experience of going to the symphony to the experience of eating one of their hamburgers. And these are two tea ads from Lipton that synthesize the idea of green tea with the idea of going green in terms of environmentalism, and use the actual tea bag string itself to create new art, the bicycle and the windmill. So if you want to use these concepts in your own brand awareness advertising, you can do something super simple like this, or create more for yourself. Just basically a matrix to keep yourself disciplined and focused on actually putting them into your ads. If you have an idea for an ad or an ad campaign, basically you can check one of the boxes on the left to make sure it's in there, and then to keep yourself honest, explain why it is actually elaboration, so you kind of can tell whether you're lying to yourself or whether it actually is elaboration in the way that someone viewing the ad would see it. So, for example, I had ideas to promote AdRoll retargeting using like someone and a dog playing fetch together, and I would check off flexibility because playing fetch and applying it to bringing people back to your store extends two ideas to the idea of retargeting. And then synthesis, if I replace the stick with a shopping cart, brings two different concepts together into the scene of playing fetch with a shopping cart rather than a stick for retargeting. It's a pretty simple example. You haven't seen those ads because I don't know if the idea is good yet or not, but it's just kind of an example for you to use a matrix like this or something else you come up with yourself to make sure you get creativity in your ads. So thanks for watching. Again, tips from a roller, and I hope this helps you put some creativity into your brand awareness and reap the benefits of it. Thanks.